What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. We are going to be looking at the sneakers or running sneakers that are releasing in 2025 that I'm excited for. So sit back, relax, and let's talk some shoes. So to preface this, I'm just going to be mentioning some of the shoes. I'm going to scroll through the list. I know the running event just happened not too long ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, a month ago. So I did watch a ton of YouTube videos about what shoes are coming out, what the new designs look like, and what I'm, I guess, personally excited to run in, just based from a technology perspective, brand perspective, and just my personal preferences, what I think is going to fit my needs really well. And yeah, excited to get your guys' thoughts also in the comment section down below. So if you guys have any thoughts or comments on any of the shoes I talk about, please leave them in the comment section down below and I'll be happy to respond. So without too much talking, let's get right into it. I have my little post-it note and my phone to kind of look at, I guess, the shoes with you guys. And that'll give me a better idea of, I guess, what the shoe looks like, how much it's going to be, when it's going to release, and whatnot. So in January, there are 3 shoes that I'm really looking forward to. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to review and buy all 3 of these shoes, but the 3 shoes are the Saucony Ride 18s. So the reason why I'm excited for these, apparently these released January 1st for $140 retail. And the reason I'm excited for these is, I guess, the Ride 17s look really similar to the Ride 18s, but I think just they re-engineered the upper a little bit. When I did try on the Ride 17s in store, I felt that the upper felt a little bit plasticky and just not super comfortable. Also, the foam on that midsole of the Ride 17 was a little bit firm for my liking. Honestly, gives me flashbacks to the Saucony Triumph 22, which, you know, we won't talk about too much. But the Ride 18 looks like a promising update maybe to the Ride 17. I know that Saucony also is planning to revamp the Triumph 22 to the Triumph 23. It looks like a redesign instead of just, retooling the upper, so that's also exciting. And I'll probably look into the Saucony Triumph 23, which I think is coming in next June. So I guess that's like way out in advance, and we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. So yeah, Saucony Ride 18 looks fantastic. I really like the way that the shoe looks. I think looks definitely does affect my opinion on a shoe, not when it comes to performance, but what I feel like I want to wear. If the design looks really nice and the performance is kind of average to mid, I still feel like I find myself reaching for the shoes if I just like the way it looks and, it looks cool. I don't know. That's just me. Or if it has cool colorways too. Like, I don't know. It just kind of gets to me. I think all runners like good looking shoes, so it doesn't hurt. So the Ride 18 looks like a pretty good option. Full length Power Run Plus. I believe it's like 35 millimeters in the heel, dropping to, I believe, 27 in the forefoot, so 8 millimeter heel to toe drop. And yeah, dropping for $140 on January 1st. Upper looks a little bit more breathable, not as maybe plasticky, hopefully, as the Ride 17. So yeah, that one I'm kind of on the fence of buying or not, because the next shoe that I'm going to talk about is the one that I'm very excited for, which is the Asics Nimbus 27. So that one is also apparently releasing on January 1st, and that one I will be reviewing and will be purchasing. That one is releasing, I believe, for $165. So they did increase the price from last year's model, the Asics Nimbus 26, by $5, which, I mean, they're giving 2 more millimeters of stack height in the shoe, so I guess like that $5 might be justified. The upper, I'm a little bit concerned about for the Nimbus 27. It looks like they made the upper a little bit more plasticky. I do know that the tongue and the heel collar slash that heel tab is still a knitted material, so that is a good sign, but hopefully that upper is not too plasticky, because just from the videos I've seen of it, it looks a little bit plasticky. So I will get my hands on that pair. $165 releasing on January 1st. I am excited to try out the new FF Blast Plus. I believe I watched some marketing video or some interview with the product manager for that line, and I believe he said it was an updated FF Blast Plus. So again, it's one of those marketing terms that they use the same name for the midsole, but I guess it's a different formulation. So I am excited to try that shoe out. The Nimbus, I've tried on the Nimbus 25 and the 26. They both feel really comfortable. I've ran a little bit in the Nimbus 25, but I really like that shoe. 26 I kind of passed on, and yeah, really excited for the 27. They have a little bit added stack height, and they maybe updated the upper just a touch. So really excited to kind of get my hands back on the Nimbus line, and I think it's going to be a pretty solid performer. Asics is pretty solid overall. Like, there's not a lot of holes in their game. That's what we would say in basketball. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. If I would say that they have a weakness, it might be on the fit side of things. I've always had a little bit of heel slippage in different Asics models, and usually in the forefoot too. Like, I don't know, maybe they're not the best fitting shoes, but I mean, that's just a minor gripe on Asics, and I do feel like some models fit better than others, and some have a little bit more room than others. Maybe their sizing to me is a little bit inconsistent, but then again, I have a little bit wider of a foot, so I don't know. That's one of the shoes I'm looking forward to in January of 2025. And the next one that I'm looking forward to, and the last one of January, is the Hoka Bondi 9. So the Bondi is actually a very special model in my heart because I've actually known about Hoka before I even got into running, or running seriously and running marathons. And I think I had the Hoka Bondi 6 when I was kind of in a phase where I was running like, maybe 1 to 4 miles like once a week or twice a week. And it wasn't really the main focus of my fitness regimen. So the Bondi 6 was pretty decent. I thought that the fit was a little bit sloppy, but the cushion was really cool, and it was max stack height, which I thought was really cool at the time. And that was kind of the time of running shoes where stack heights weren't absurdly high like they are now. So now it's a lot more common. And honestly, I haven't ran in a Bondi since. I believe the Bondi 7 was really popular. The Bondi 8, I did try the Bondi 8 in store, and it felt really narrow in my foot. And I honestly just didn't really... It didn't intrigue me to buy the shoe. I tried it on. It was really narrow. The foam, the stack height was really high, but it just felt really firm. So I was just kind of like, okay, like it's super heavy too. Like I'm not even someone who really cares about the weight of shoes, but that one was it felt ridiculously heavy. So I was kind of just like, okay, like I'm not dying to try out the shoes. So I kind of passed on that one. And the Bondi 9 looks to be very exciting. And the reason I say that is because apparently they are putting in the same supercritical foam that they used, I believe, in the Skyflow as well as the Hoka Mach 6. I personally really love the Hoka Mach 6. These Hoka Skyflow, again, fit me a little bit weird, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that shoe, but it was a pretty good performer. So Hoka Clifton 9, or sorry, not Hoka Clifton 9, Hoka Bondi 9, I'm very, very excited for it because it's going to be max stack height of that supercritical foam. I didn't try out that super high stack Hoka Skyward X. So I think that the Bondi 9, just from like looks and first impressions wise, I haven't held the shoes at all in my hands, but it seems like the Hoka Bondi 9 hopefully will kind of be like that non-plated version of the Hoka Skyward X, and I think a lot of people really like that shoe, so I don't know, we'll see. I'm hoping for it to be a really high stack height, really responsive, kind of maybe like a competitor of a Brooks Glycerin Max or like an Asics Super Blast 2, but I believe that shoe is releasing for $170, but let me double check really quick. So I think that even though, $170 is still a lot of money, I think that is a pretty good value if it can kind of perform like a super shoe. So let me double check that price real quick. Okay, yeah, I was not able to find the price, at least from a quick Google search. So I believe I watched a video, and I think it's around $170. I think the Bondi 8 retailed for $165. So again, another $5 increase. So shout out to inflation. That's a whole nother topic that I don't want to get into. So moving on to February of 2025. So February is the month of Nike. Let me double check to see if I missed any shoes, but obviously the biggest ones for that month are going to be the Vomero 18 as well as the Pegasus Premium. Really, really, really excited for those shoes. Let me just double check that I'm not missing any shoes for February of 2025. Brooks Glycerin 22, I'm not super excited about that shoe. I mean, I've tried the Brooks Glycerin 21. I don't know, with Brooks too, I guess, side note, Brooks Glycerin 21 and Brooks Ghost Max 2. I guess the Brooks Glycerin line and the Brooks Ghost Max line kind of confuse me a little bit because I feel like they're trying to do the same things, but maybe the styling is a little bit different. Like the Ghost Max looks like a max cushion shoe, and the Brooks Glycerin series is kind of like their premium daily trainer shoe, but also uses kind of the same foam. And I don't know, it's just like a higher stack running shoe that's using premium foam too. I don't know, like it just seems to me a little bit redundant for their product line. I've only personally ran in the Brooks Ghost Max and the Brooks Ghost Max 2. I've only tried on the Brooks Glycerin 21, but since I did like the Brooks Ghost Max series, it kind of made me feel like I didn't really need to buy the Brooks Glycerin because it just seemed a little bit redundant. But I guess fun fact, the Brooks Glycerin 22 is going to have DNA tuned foam, which is the same foam as the Brooks Glycerin Max. So I don't know. I'm just not super excited to try out that shoe. I'm not really looking to buy that shoe. But the ones that I am looking to buy, Nike Pegasus Premium, that one's releasing, I believe, on February 1st. With all these release dates too, I'm not exactly sure what's what because, you know, sometimes people give out dates and they don't end up happening. So don't want to get my hopes too high. But the Brooks, or sorry, not the Brooks, the Nike Pegasus Premium, super excited for this shoe. And the reason for that being is one, my first pair of shoes that got me into running shoes or just shoes in general was a Nike pair. So I guess Nike always has a special place in my heart. And I guess all the sports that I've played, golf, running, basketball, with the exception of climbing or rock climbing, I've always worn Nike shoes, or Nikes have always been a big part of my rotation for all of those sports. Like they have Nike golf shoes, they have Nike basketball shoes. Nike basketball back in the day, like 10 years ago, with like the Galaxy packs and all that stuff. I mean, there's just so much nostalgia with Nike for me, and I do think that Nike, you know, say what you want about their running line. You know, people are a love or hate relationship with Nike for running, but for me, I think that they bring something different to the market with Nike Zoom and Nike Air. You know, maybe Nike Air not so much in the running space, but Nike Zoom I think is just the most different, I guess, from all the other brands, where, you know, you're feeling a little bit of an air pocket that bounces back and gives you that responsive feeling. I know that they have Nike Zoom X. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Nike Zoom X. I feel like it's a little bit less bouncy than, you know, what Saucony has for their Piba blend. So I do prefer Saucony's Piba blend if we're going foam for foam. But with Nike Pegasus Premium, we are having a full-length Zoom unit with a little bit of Zoom X, I believe, either on top of the Zoom unit or on the bottom of the Zoom unit. Really, really excited for that. It reminds me of a shoe that came out like a while back called the Nike Zoom All Outs. That shoe was a little bit atrocious, so I'm hoping that the Nike Pegasus Premium is going to be better than that, because the Nike Zoom All Out stability was just terrible. I had a pair, and I don't know, I just felt like I couldn't run in them. Also, at that time that I had that pair, I wasn't super into running. I just wanted a really comfortable walking shoe. And even walking, I felt like it was a little bit unstable, so I could only imagine how that, I guess, fared with runners back in the day. I also did feel that the heel lockdown wasn't very good on the Nike All Out, if I remember correctly. I don't have that shoe anymore, but the reason for that being is with a full-length Nike Zoom unit like that, typically it worked well in basketball shoes, because, you know, basketball shoes are sometimes mid-top to high-top, so it locks down your ankle a little bit better. But with low-top, full-length Air units with Nike, I've always had a little bit of trouble getting that heel lockdown, because I believe that the Zoom units make the shoe a little bit less flexible and stiffer. And what that does is when you're, I guess, running or bending the shoe, it kind of pops your heels out or ankles out. I don't know. That's maybe a personal thing for me, but that's the biggest fear that I have with the Pegasus Premium. That shoe is releasing on February 1st for $210, I believe. I think they may have knocked the price out. Originally, I thought it was like $225 or something, which freaking ridiculous. That's like a race day shoe. But yeah, so $210. I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm call me what you want, Nike fanboy, Nike whatever. But I am a big fan of Nike. I love Nike Pegasus 41. So really excited to try out the Nike Pegasus Premium. I mean, let's also talk about that line change with Nike too. I think with Nike running, I think they are investing a lot more into the running division, which I'm really excited for, and I think that they're starting to give a little bit more bang for the buck. Maybe not with the Pegasus Premium, but for the 41, the Pegasus 41, as well as the Vomero 18, which we'll talk about in a second, I think they're giving a little bit more to the consumer than what they may be used to with their past Vomeros and the past Pegasus. I always felt like they were a little bit lackluster for the full retail price, but, you know, with Nike too, like, I grew up going to the Nike factory stores, Nike clearance outlet stores, so you can always get those Pegasus for super, super cheap. So in that sense, like, I thought it was always a good deal, but I would never in the past buy a lot of the Nike running shoes for full price, because I just didn't feel like they were worth it. It seemed like other brands had a better or did a better job in pricing their technologies and shoes, and you felt like you got a little bit more bang for the buck with other models or other brands. But I think Nike's starting to realize that, and they're revamping their whole line. How I feel about like Nike Vomero, Nike Structure, and Nike Pegasus. Don't love it, to be honest. I think Believe in the Run said something about how the Vomero, they've seen the Vomero Plus and the Vomero Premium, so I'm excited to see what those look like. I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy all of them, because if the Vomero 18, I believe, retails at $150, that means the Plus and the Premium gotta be way more expensive. Another thing that I didn't mention is I didn't review the Nike Pegasus Plus, which is also known as the Nike Pegasus Turbo, or, you know, the old Turbo. I didn't really feel like that shoe made any sense to me. Maybe I'm not like a real runner, or like not a real track athlete or something, but I just felt like, yeah, like you're getting full length Zoom X, but it's a lower stack height, and then you're pricing at $180. I don't know. It just didn't really make too much sense to me. You could buy the Invincible 3s, you know, for $180. You're still getting full length Zoom X, and you're getting a higher stack. And then you can always buy like the Pegasus 41, which is not going to be, I guess, as fast as full length Zoom X, but I guess, like, I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me. I'm just rambling now. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Nike's new structuring of their running division, but, you know, we'll see how it plays out in 2025, and I'm excited to see what they release. And, you know, I'll pick and choose like what I review, so really excited for that. And as for the Nike Pegasus Premium, I will be reviewing that. $210, releasing February 1st. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited. Hopefully the fit is good, and I don't know, hopefully it's going to be really bouncy, because I do miss full-length Zoom. So excited for that. Moving on to the Nike Vomero 18, which we kind of just talked about. That shoe is kind of the signal to me that Nike is really trying with their running division now, because they are giving 46 millimeters of stack height in the heel, dropping to 36 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot, of, I think, Zoom X and React X foam on the Vomero 18, and they're pricing at $150, I believe, which the Vomero, I believe, was always $160 in the past. So they are dropping the price, they're giving us more foam, and they're giving us premium foam in Zoom X. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think with the whole 10 millimeter offset heel to toe drop, I mean, that's just Nike being Nike. I wish maybe it was like 6 to 8 millimeters. That would be ideal for me personally, but, you know, I don't know. Some people hate the 10 millimeter heel to toe drop. Some people have no problems. I don't really have a problem with the 10 millimeter heel to toe drop, but it would be nice to kind of have a Nike shoe that has less than 10 millimeters of heel to toe drop. So yeah, I'm going to review that shoe too. That's, I believe, releasing on February 27th. So super excited for that one as well. I think it's going to be interesting because, one, they reduced the price to $150, and I feel like they're giving more bang for the buck. They're giving us a higher stack, and that shoe seems to be pretty versatile too. At least the way that I'm looking at it as a bigger runner. It kind of reminds me of like the New Balance More V5, or, you know, maybe the Brooks Glycerin Max, but at a cheaper price at $150. So I think that could be pretty good value. And knowing Nike, if you wait 6 months, you're going to be able to basically get it for half price. So I think that that's going to be a really cool option. The one gripe I do have about that is I think that the design is ugly. Maybe I haven't seen a lot of colorways out yet, but yeah, the design's ugly. But if it's a good performer and good value, then who cares about the design, honestly. So that's February. Now, moving on to, I guess, talking about February too, On Cloudsurfer 2 is coming out. I've tried on the Cloudsurfer 1, and I felt that that was really unstable for me. It felt a little bit weird too. It was one of the first On shoes that I've ever tried, but honestly, it seems like after I reviewed a couple other On shoes, I think that the Cloudsurfer is probably one of the better ones. So Cloudsurfer 2 is coming out February as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to review that one. The On Cloudmonster 3 is coming out. I do have the On Cloudmonster 1s. Wasn't really impressed by those shoes, especially at $180. I honestly just bought them because I saw them on sale for, I think, like $110, and I love the colorway, love the design. I just think they look really cool, so I was kind of a victim of, I guess, just the design and the colorway. So not exactly sure. I've tried on the On Cloudmonster 2s, nothing special, literally the same shoe as the 1. So I'm assuming that the 3 is going to be around the same. In my opinion, I think On shoes are just like kind of whatever. They're kind of average for running shoes. I don't hate them. Like, I can run in them. I just think they're a little bit overpriced, and I don't think that their Helion Super Foam is that good. I also don't really believe in that CloudTec technology that much. I think it provides a lot of impact protection, but there's not enough bounce, if that makes sense. So I think if they made the Helion a little bit more of like a Peba blend with like the OnCloud Hyper Monsters or whatever those are called, like I haven't even tried those because they're like $225. I think if they had a bouncier foam and the clouds were a little bit smaller in the shoes, I think that it would be a little bit more bouncy, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I review those or if I even try them on. But knowing On, it's going to be like another price increase or it's going to be something ridiculous. So not exactly sure if I'm going to try those. In March, the New Balance 880 V15s are coming out. Let's talk about New Balance. So New Balance More V6 and New Balance 880 V15, both of them look really similar to me. I don't know if there's going to be a problem for New Balance of the shoes looking a little bit too similar with the design language, but I don't know. I mean, I'm all for it. Like the 880 V15 is going to be priced at $140, so maybe it's going to be like a budget More V6 or budget More V5. But all the shoes are starting to kind of look the same to me, and I think like if all the stack heights are really high and there's I guess no disparity between their product models or lines, it's going to be really confusing for the consumer, one, and two, I think like it's just like, why are we making the same shoe? I don't know. That's just my opinion. So not exactly sure if I'm going to review the 880 V15s, but yeah, that's coming out. I think in March. The only two that I have are the Adidas Evo SLs. Adidas, why did you release them in like October of this year or do a drawing for them in October and then have everyone else that didn't win the lottery like me wait until March? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like unless it's a collab or like some hype shoe, then yeah, like by all means do a drawing, do whatever you need to do. But if it's like a performance running shoe like the Evo SL, like I don't know. Maybe I'm just salty that I didn't win the lottery, but I feel like just release the shoe. Or like same with the Pegasus Premium too with Nike. Like they told us like a year in advance. It's like, okay, like what do I do with this information? Like why don't you just release them sooner so we can all like have fun and run in them? So yeah, Evo SL, I think I'm still gonna review them just because it's full length Lightstrike Pro. I like the price point. I think it has like a TPU shank in there. So I think that the Evo SL is going to be pretty similar to the Nike Zoom Fly 6. I absolutely love the Zoom Fly 6. So that's why I'm still going to review them. So, but Adidas, please take my feedback into corporate because I still don't think you should do a drawing and then have everyone else wait for 5 months before the shoe comes out. So that is releasing in March 2025. We'll see if they do another drawing, and we'll see if I can even win that. And then the Adidas Boston 13 is coming out in March 2025. That one I'm pretty interested in. I do have the Boston 12s. Hated the upper, to be honest with you. Felt really plasticky, and then it just fit weird, and I had to get like a half size down, but then the wide version, and then I don't know, like I'm not a big fan of those heel counters that are just like plastic or like they have no padding at all, just because I feel like it creates an opportunity to chafe on the heel and it has an opportunity to kind of dig into your heels, and it's like, let's just add a little bit of weight and put a little bit of padding and a sock liner on there and call it good to go. Like you won't have any of those problems. So I think the Boston 12's fit was horrible. And the upper was also terrible, but overall the setup of the midsole was fantastic. The outsole rubber, fantastic. Continental rubber on Adidas shoes are always phenomenal. So the Boston 13's finally coming out. I feel like it's been like 3 years since the Boston 12 came out. So yeah, whenever you're ready, Adidas, please release them. So apparently they're releasing March 2025. I'm getting this from like an external website, so I don't even know if it's true. But yeah, I think I will be reviewing those if they change the upper. So that's coming. And then last but not least, I know this is a little bit of a longer video. I just kind of wanted to make like a casual like yap session of running shoes, but the Clifton 10, the Hoka Clifton 10s coming out in April 15th. Obviously there's a whole nother like 8 months of the year that I didn't talk about for running shoes, but I feel like that's kind of in the distance. So last one I wanted to talk about was the Hoka Clifton 10. I believe they increased the stack height. They also changed the heel to toe drop from 5 millimeters in their usual Clifton series to I think 8 millimeters. Not a huge deal to me, honestly, but it is kind of a shame that they are changing that. I don't know why they're changing it. So yeah, I think that the stack height is gonna maybe increase a little bit on the Clifton 10, and yeah, other than that, I don't know too much about it. I know that they're not going to use supercritical foam on that line, so I'm less excited about the Clifton than I am the Bondi. And then last but not least, I believe they are also increasing the price $5. So 145 with the Clifton 9s to 150 for the Clifton 10s. I don't know. I feel like that shoe is just like the Hoka Daily Trainer, the epitome of a Hoka Daily Trainer. So I feel like obligated to test it. And to review it because it's just like their, I don't know, their Toyota Corolla, you know? So I feel like I should review it, but you know, we'll see. Like if there's more cool shoes that come out in April, you know, like with my budget, like I'll probably spend it on something else. But for now, I probably will be reviewing the Clifton 10. I feel like it's going to be a pretty normal average shoe. I think if anything, the Bondi for Hoka is going to be the best shoe. And then maybe if they release the Mach 7 sometime soon, I think that shoe is probably going to be good again because the Mach 6 was phenomenal. So that's going to pretty much wrap up this long video about what shoes I'm excited for 2025. Thank you guys if you guys listened to the whole thing. I know that this is like a different video from me, but I just kind of wanted to yap a little bit and talk a little bit more about the shoes. I feel like in my reviews on a lot of the shoes, I try to pack it with information, but I don't get to really like go in depth and like, I don't know, just like start spewing. So like this is a new type of video for me. Let me know if you guys find it entertaining or if you like it at all. And yeah, I will maybe make more videos like this in the future. In 2025, I think it's going to be a big year for me in general, just personal life, and then for this channel too. So I'm super excited for that, and I have some big things planned for this channel. I know I sometimes say like I'm going to come out with vlogs and all this stuff, or like going to try new videos, and then I end up only posting like shoe reviews, but I do genuinely think in 2025 I'm going to try to diversify the content a little bit. It's mostly still going to be running related, but you know, maybe with a few surprises here and there, you know, shake things up a bit. But yeah, that's going to pretty much wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate the guys or the girls that are watching the videos and supporting me. It's kind of what keeps me going and doing this YouTube thing. I've honestly really enjoyed it too. Like, so yeah, appreciate you guys, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.